Hey, thanks so much for tuning in today. My name is Matthew Atkins. I'm the Senior Financial Advisor with Clearbrook Investment Management and also a National Social Security Advisor certificate holder. Today, we are going to address two very exciting offsets that the Social Security Administration likes to land on people even though they didn't know they even existed. One of them is called the Windfall Elimination Provision, or WEP, and the other one is the Government Pension Offset, otherwise known as GPO. Now, let's talk first about who is affected by this. Well, you're going to be affected if you're one of the thousands and thousands of people. By the way, almost 2 million people go to apply for Social Security every single year and are impacted by WEP and or GPO. So those people are the people who've worked for a state agency, a municipal government, a education system within a state that does not participate in the Social Security program. And so within their retirement systems, they are not paying into Social Security. Those states, there's not a lot of them, but there are a few. And so states like Illinois, Ohio, Massachusetts, Texas, California, those states, a large percentage of their public employees do not participate in Social Security. And so they are going to be impacted by WEP and or GPO. Another group of people, maybe people who've worked abroad. I live on the West Coast in Washington, and so we have a lot of people who live and work in both Canada and the U.S. I lived in Canada myself for 9 years. Well, if you happen to work long enough in Canada where you are eligible for a pension, or you at least are eligible for the Canada Pension Plan, and you also work in the United States and become eligible for Social Security, your Social Security benefit is going to be impacted by WEP and may also be impacted by GPO. So anybody who has earned income in a place or in a way that did not participate in Social Security, some military personnel, some clergy members have not participated in Social Security. Okay, now if they have a benefit package or something where there's a pension plan, that pension plan that didn't participate in Social Security could have an effect on their Social Security benefit. So let's talk about how it impacts that. I'm going to try not to be super boring here, but your Social Security benefit is made up of what's called your average index monthly earnings, okay, your AMI. That's your earnings history going far back as you started to work. That's then run through a calculation to bring it into present day dollars. And there's an indexing amount that is applied to each earnings year. Okay, that AMI then has a dollar amount, and that dollar amount is run through a process. So the Social Security Administration uses what they call bend points. Okay, and the first bend point is 90% of your first $996. $996 of AMI. After that, it goes up. The next bend point is actually 32% of the AMI that you have from this point up to $6,002. And then there's a third bend point, which we're not going to talk about either. And that's for people who have a very high AMI. Most of us end up being in only having the two first bend points impact our Social Security benefit. Okay, so your total primary insurance amount, your PIA from Social Security, is going to be calculated based on your AMI and the three bend points that exist. The first one being the one that we're going to really focus on today, because that's the one that is impacted when there's a windfall elimination provision. Well, how is it impacted? Let's talk about that for a second. So the windfall elimination provision, again, impacts anyone who's got earned income in a place or state or foreign country that did not participate in Social Security. And so what happens is, rather than just giving you the full 90% of the first bend point, if you have other income from a non-participating institution or government, then you're going to be dropped down to 40% of that first $996, 40%. So what's going to happen right away is that you're going to see a $498 reduction in your Social Security. Now, the good news is, if you hit that maximum amount, that's all you're going to see. Okay, $498. But if you have employment history in the United States, then Social Security Administration, and particularly that participates in Social Security, the SSA is going to recognize that, but they only recognize it based on how much you earned and how long you worked, okay? And so those are called years of substantial earnings. In order to qualify for an amount between 40 and 90%, you have to have at least 21 years up to 30 years of substantial employment. Okay, if you only have 20 years of substantial employment history, you're going to be reduced down to that 40% level. If you have 30 years of substantial earnings, you're going to be back at the 90% level. So if you have 25 years, then your reduction amount is going to be between 40 and 90%. You're not going to see the full 90%, but you're also not going to see the full 40% reduction. So that's how Windfall Elimination Provision determines your benefit. It's pretty easy to calculate, but obviously if you've got individual questions, you can contact me and I'm happy to run you through the calculation and show you how much your Social Security benefit will be based on Windfall Elimination Provision. Now, let's talk a little bit about GPO. By the way, when we talk about WEP and GPO, the W in the WEP stands for the worker. That is for the benefits that you get as an employee, a person who works and qualifies for Social Security. In government pension offset, we focus on the P, okay? That stands for partner, domestic partner, common law partner, married partner, whatever it happens to be. If, you are in a situation where you have a partner who is in some way dependent on your Social Security benefits, when they go to apply for Social Security, that is, they're going to apply for spousal benefit, and or, when we pass away, they're going to get survivor benefits. Those can both be impacted by the WEP and the GPO. So let me talk about how. And again, if you are in a marriage relationship, a common law, you have a partner, whatever, and both of you qualify for your own Social Security benefit, and both of those are substantial enough that neither of you would tend to use spousal benefits, then GPO never has an impact on you. WEP still could, but GPO doesn't. GPO only comes into play when a person is applying for some kind of a spousal benefit. The difference between WEP and GPO, not only that the WEP applies to the worker and the GPO applies to the partner, but WEP will never reduce your Social Security benefit to zero. You'll always get some. The maximum reduction you're going to get currently in 2021 is at $498. That's the maximum reduction. Not $498 in benefit, $498 off of $996. Excuse me. So, but you're still going to get something based on WEP. GPO can actually wipe out partners' total Social Security benefit. Okay, so let me give you an illustration, because GPO uses a different calculation to determine the spousal benefit that's being applied for. Okay, so let's assume, for example, that I am the wage earner and I happen to work part of my career in California. And in doing that, I developed a pension down in California. That pension from a state government did not participate in Social Security, and so I am subject to WEP. Okay, but I also have, and I'm going to give some figures to this. Let's assume that amount is $2,000, okay, of Social Security benefit. That's my WEP adjusted amount. Okay, but I also have a pension from California. That's $1,000. Okay, that pension amount is what's going to impact GPO. So when the Social Security Administration goes to calculate a spousal or partner benefit from GPO, typically at full retirement age, the spousal benefit on my Social Security would be 50%. Okay, which would equal obviously $1,000. 50% of the $2,000 I get, that would be a spousal benefit. But when GPO comes into play, because I have that $1,000 pension from California, now all of a sudden the spousal benefit is not $1,000. Instead, it reduced by 2/3 of my pension, my non-covered pension. 2/3 of the $1,000 pension I have. Well, 2/3 of $1,000, let's just round it up, is $667. So guess what? That 50% that your partner was supposed to get as a spousal benefit based on your earnings in Social Security, that's now going to be reduced by $667, and they're going to get a big whopping $333. That is it. Now, what happens if my pension was $2,000 from California? They're still going to run it through the 2/3%, and guess what? It's actually going to wipe out my partner's Social Security benefit. So WEP will never reduce your Social Security benefit to zero, but GPO can reduce the spousal benefit to zero. It also impacts the survivor benefits down the road. If this person dies, then the kids are not going to get anything they were eligible for. If you have more questions, give me a call, drop me an email. Again, my name is Matthew Atkins. I'm the Senior Financial Advisor with Clearbrook Investment Management and also a National Social Security Advisor. Thanks so much for tuning in.